In this video, I'll be showing you how to make a new Rainbow Loom bracelet called a Vertical Heart Bracelet. So you can make it on either 1 or 2 looms. I will show you how to make it on either one. You want to have your loom set up in a rectangular shape so that all the pins are in line with one another. And if you're using 2 looms, you want to have them connected end to end. And you're going to need to choose your colors. I've chosen white for the border and I have red for my hearts. So you're going to start with the arrows facing away from you, and we're going to start by putting the perimeter bands or the border bands on. So you want to start at the center row and you want to take your color that you've chosen for the border and you're going to put it up to the pin above. And then we're just going to work our way up this top row of pins. You always want to place the band on the very next pin over. And we're just going to work our way up this entire side. And you always want to make sure that you're pushing the bands down to the bottom of the pins every time. Now if you're working with just 1 loom, you want to stop 1 pin short of the end, and then you're going to place your next band over to the center. If you're working with 2 looms, you want to stop 2 pins short from the end of your loom, so you should have 2 empty pins in that row, and you want to take your last band and move it into the center row. And then you want to go back to the start, and you still want the arrows to be facing away from you. And this time you're going to again start at that center pin, but you're going to go to the pin below, and then you're going to work your way up the entire lower row of pins, doing that same pattern, just always placing it to the next pin above. And again, you always want to be pushing down so that the bands are at the bottom of those pins, so you have room to add your next layer of bands. And once again, if you're working with just 1 loom, you want to stop 1 pin short of the end of your loom, and you want to place your next band into the center row. Again, if you're working with 2 looms, you want to stop 2 pins short from the end of your loom, and you want to place the last band into the center row. And then you want to start back at the beginning. Again, you want to have the arrows facing away from you, and now we want to start to string the inside bands for the hearts. The first band placement is going to start in this center row, and it's just going to move to the pin above. And you want to use the same color as your border, so I have white. And now I'm going to switch to red for the heart, and I'm going to start on this top pin on the end, and I'm just going to move it in to the pin above. I'm going to go to the bottom pin and again do the same thing, just move it to the pin above. And then I want to go in the center row, and I'm going to put a red band there to the pin above. And then I have 1 more band I'm going to use for the heart, and this time it's going to be doubled. So you want to take your hook and put the band on, wrap it around a second time so it's doubled, and then pull it down so it's caught on the hook part. And this band is going to go from this pin and it's going to stretch all the way down to the pin at the bottom. So you want to hook it on and then pull it all the way down to the bottom. Now in doing that, it's going over this center pin, and I don't want it to be over that center pin. So I'm going to take my hook and grab these 2 bands. There's going to be 2 since it's a doubled band, and move it to the front of that pin, just so it's not wrapped around there. So that is what the heart is going to look like when it's on the loom. And now we want to just keep moving down and adding more hearts. So I'm going to go to this center pin where the end of the red band is. I'm just going to place my next band. It's going to be white or whatever color you have for your border. And then I'm going to place a second white band. And it's in this row that we want to place our next red bands. So right where we've placed this last white band, we're going to move to the row above and place a red band. And then we'll move to the row below and place another red band. And then back to the center, I'm going to do another red band. And then we want to put our doubled band. So if you take your hook, again, place the band on and wrap it around a second time. Pull it down so that it's caught on the hook. And again, we're going to be placing the band from the top all the way to the bottom. It's going to stretch all the way across. And then the last thing we want to do is grab the two bands that are closest to you and then just move them to the front of that pin. So I'm just going to work my way down the entire loom using this pattern. I will show you a couple more times how to do it. So from this center pin where we have the end of the red band, we're going to place another white, and then we'll have a second white, and then in that same row we're going to do the reds. So on the pin above we're going to place a red band, and then on the pin below another, and then finally in the center we're going to go place another red band. And then you're going to take the last band for this heart and double it. Again, it's going to stretch all the way across, so put the end on the top, stretch it all the way down to the bottom, and then finally you want to take the two bands that are closest to you and just move them in front of that pin. Now again, you want to take a white band and put it in the center, and then take a second one, and then it's in this row we're going to place our red bands, one above and one below, and then finally in the center another red. And then also we want to take our last red band. We're going to double it and then place it on the top and stretch it all the way to the bottom, and then take these two bands and move them in front of that center pin. So if you're using just one loom, this is what the end should look like. You should have one empty row left. If you're using two looms, this is what the end of your loom should look like. You should have two rows that are empty. And then what we want to do is turn the entire loom around so that now the arrows are facing towards you. And we're going to place one more band. It's going to be a cap band. You're going to take the band that's the same color as your border, put it on your hook and double it, and place it right on the center pin, right on the top. And now we're ready to start looming the bracelet. So we're going to start by doing the hearts and also the white bands that are in the center row. We're not doing anything with the border yet. So you're going to take your hook and reach down inside. You want to use the back of your hook to push back on this cap band. Grab the red band And you can use your finger to hold the cap band in place and put it to the pin above. Next, you're going to reach down inside of the red band and you're going to grab this red band that's underneath, pull it out through the top. It might be a little tight since the band that's on top of it is doubled, and just put it to the pin above. And then you want to go to the lower side and do the same thing. Reach down through the center and push back. Grab that red band that's underneath and release it, and then just put it to the pin above. And now you want to reach down inside the center to get this white band. Go all the way to the bottom. See if I can get a good camera angle. And grab this white band and pull it up through to the pin above. You're going to do the same thing again. Grab the white band and pull it to the pin above. And now you're to your next heart. So you're going to again reach down through the center and pull up the red band. Put it on the pin above. And then you're going to do the bands on the side, just the top red ones. So pull back on that top doubled band and grab the red band, pull it up to the pin above, and then do the same thing for the other side. Grab that red band and pull it up. And now we're going to continue with the white bands in the center. So reach down through, release it, and pull it to the pin above. Again, you're going to have another white band to do in the middle. And now again, you're to your next heart. So reach down through the center and pull it to the pin above. Now you need to do the two sides. So reach down through the center of this doubled red band and grab that red band that's right underneath. Release it and pull it to the pin above. And then do the same thing for the other side. Just pull back on that doubled band and grab that red band underneath and pull it to the pin above. And then again, you're going to go down through the center and grab that white band and pull it up. And we're just going to work our way up till we get to the top of the loom. And now you want to start back at the beginning with the arrows facing towards you again, and it's time to loop the border bands. So you want to start in the center, take your hook and pull back on that cap band again, grab just the top white band and release that and pull it to the pin above. And now we're just going to work our way up the top row. So you're just going to reach down through the center, pull back on the upper bands with the back of your hook, and pull that bottom band and put it on the pin above. You're just going to keep doing that same pattern, pulling that bottom band out through the center and moving it to the pin above. So I will fast forward here. And when you get to the top, you want to reach down through the center, grab that bottom band, pull it out, and then just move it to the pin in the middle. And then you want to start back at the beginning again. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to do the border on the lower pins. So you're going to reach down through the center, pull back on that cap band, grab the bottom band and pull it down. And now we're just going to work on the pins on this lower row. So reach down through the center, grab the bottom and pull it to the pin above. Again, do the same thing. You're just working up the side of the loom. And when you get to the top, again, you want to reach down into the center, grab that bottom band, release it, and move it into the center pin. The last thing that you want to do is take a band that is the same color as your border, take your hook and reach down through this top center pin, move it out to the side, and then take that band, put it on your hook and pull it up through the center, and then place that loose end so you have both ends on. And now you're ready to take your bracelet off of the loom. So just carefully pull. It's going to be tighter to release where the bands are doubled. And then you want to take a clip, either a C-clip or an S-clip, and take those two loose ends and hook it through one side of the clip. And then go to the other side. And you should have a circle where your cap band was. And then you can just loop it through this other side. And then here is your heart bracelet. If you've only used one loom to make your bracelet, you're going to need to add an extension. So what you want to do is choose the color that you want for your extension. I'm just going to be using white. Just take your loom with the arrow facing away from you, and just up the one side put a few bands. The size of your wrist will determine how many bands you'll need. So I'm just going to do 5. You'll probably need about 5 or 6. And then what you want to do is take your bracelet, and you should have the two loose ends on your hook, and you want to just put those on. Get them both on the pins. And then what you want to do is just take the bottom band and just pull it back. And just keep going inside and pulling it back. And it's just going to make a single chain. And then when you get to the end, just put the bands on your hook and pull it up. And then you have an extension on your bracelet. And then you can just hook it through the clip. And then you're done. Here is another heart bracelet that I made using pink for the border and white for the hearts. And then here is the one that we just made. So hopefully you like my vertical heart bracelet, and you can always leave me comments on YouTube, or I've added my Facebook link on my YouTube channel. You can always post comments or pictures of things that you've created, either using my tutorials or your own designs. Thanks!